next thing. So the Nahwu worksheet was sent quite late. I apologize for that. And so you can continue working through that worksheet for next week, inshallah. As for the answers, I just couldn't find the answers, so I have to redo them. I have the answers for all of the stuff that we did this year, but last year's ones I have to look for again. So I'll send that to you in due time, inshallah. Even if it's, even if it's maybe late in the holidays, you can spend your holidays marking exercises, inshallah. Keep your brain active with our work so that we don't come back next year learning fa'ala again, yeah? As is often the case. So that will happen in due time, inshallah. But now, as for the next thing, so we were looking at the marfu'at, right? We said there were 6 of them that we're focusing on: the fa'il, the ibul fa'il, which we looked at last week. Then we had, we said it will be the mubtada, the khabar, the ismu kana, and the khabru inna. Both for kana and sister and inna, we refer to their sisters as well. Now, we looked at the fa'il, we looked at the na'ibul fa'il. I'm not going to go through the answers of the na'ibul fa'il of both the exercises of last week, but I just do want to go through the answers to the first part of the exercise, just forming the different majhul verbs. So tell me, I'm going to tell you the past tense, you tell me, or I'm going to tell you the verb, let's say you tell me the majhul form. Fa'ala, fu'ila, fa'ala, fu'ila, fa'ala, fu'ila, af'ala, uf'ila, right? Tafa'ala. What's this? What's this one? It's tufu'ila. That's correct. Tufu'ila. So look at the second letter also got the dhamma. Right? So just take note of it. It's not just tufa'ila. No, it's tufu'ila. That's why I specifically wanted to go through this. Right? Next one. Tafa'ala. Tufu'ila. So just like the fifth one, the sixth one, the second root letter also got the dhamma. So it's like the dhammas go through the whole beginning. It's tufu'ila. This one is tufu'ila. Right. Number 7. In fa'ala unfu'ila. Right. And then if ta'ala uftu'ila. The ninth one, you don't actually form the majhul on this one. I think it's always like transitive. I mean, it's always intransitive. So too for the 7th one, you generally don't you don't use it. Anyways, you can say uf'ilna. And then the last one, istaf'ala ustuf'ila. Ustuf'ila. So remember the last time I told you it starts with the u, second root letter gets a kasra. Right? But now you see for some of them, there's some other kasras, some other dhammas as well. Right? Like tufu'ila, tufu'ila, unfu'ila, uftu'ila, and ustuf'ila. Okay, now the present tense. Look, this is more something that you can learn it by rules, or you can actually just learn it like you learn skills. And that's how it normally gets taught. You normally learn it just by learning the skills. We're taking a bit of a shortcut here. Yaf'alu, yuf'alu, right? Yufa'ilu, yufa'alu, right? Yufa'ilu, yufa'alu. Yuf'ilu, yuf'alu. Right? Yatafa'alu, yutafa'alu. Right? There the tag still keeps its fatha. يتفاعل. Okay? يتفاعل. يتفاعل. ينفعل. ينفعل. يفتعل. يفتعل. يفعل. يفعل. But again, we don't really use it. يستفعل. 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 Okay, you got all of that? So it's فعل فعل فوعل أفعل تفعل تفوعل أنفعل أفتعل. Skip that one. أستفعل. Then يفعل 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 يفاعل يفعل يتفعل يتفاعل ينفعل يفتعل. Skip that one. And يستفعل. Right, so that's just how you form the majhul, and now you can use it to go through the exercise. Now let's look at the khabar. Let's look at the khabar. So we did fa'il, na'ibul fa'il. Now we're going to look at the khabar. Okay, you might think, why not mubtada first? Because the aspect of the mubtada that we're going to learn, in addition to what we already know about the mubtada, is that it can be delayed, that it can come after the khabar. So you'll more know how to have to know how to identify the khabar to appreciate when the mubtada is delayed. Right, so that's why we're doing khabar first. Okay, what bigger? Okay. So now, where does this fit in? Where does a khabar fit in? A khabar fits in as part of a jumla ismiya, right? What are the two parts of a jumla ismiya? A mubtada and a khabar. A jumla ismiya must always have those two parts. It must always have a mubtada and a khabar. What is the mubtada in terms of its understanding? Because now we're gonna look at the fact. Later on, we're going to look at the fact that the mubtada can come later in the sentence. So your explanation can't be as the first word in the sentence. No, that was in first year. Right? Now it can't be that it's the first word in the sentence. The mubtada is the thing that you actually want to speak about. You want to say something about. A jumla ismiya, what a jumla ismiya is when you want to assert something about something else. The thing that you want to assert something about, that is the mubtada. Or in English, the subject of the sentence. Right? Or here, in terms of explanation, we said here it is the focus of the sentence. But what you want to say something about. Normally it will be the first word in the sentence, but that's not always the case. Right? So our definition of it cannot be as the first thing in a sentence. We know a normal feature of it is that it's the first thing in a sentence, but that's not the definition of it. The definition of it is whatever is the focus of the sentence, what you want to speak about. Then the khabar is what you want to say about that thing. The khabar, as its name suggests, the news, right, or the information, it is what you want to say about the mubtada. The mubtada is what you want to speak about. The khabar is what you want to say about it. The predicate in English. It's what you predicate upon the subject. It's the hukm, yeah, it's the thing that you want to assert about the object. Now that's not much different to what we learned. We already kind of intuitively focused upon that throughout our learning. The mubtada is the focus of the sentence. The khabar is what you want to say about it. What we more want to focus on here, is this table. The fact that the khabar can take different forms. Now, throughout our learning, throughout our journey with the Quran, we have already seen all of these forms. And when we came across them, I just told you, maybe this whole harful jar and ism majroor is the khabar, or this whole sentence is the khabar. Right? But here what we want to do is we actually just want to look at the different types of khabars that you get. Right? So as you can see, I have 5 listed here. The first one is the one that we teach formally in the first year. When I say, Ar-rajulu tawilun, the man is tall. I have one word that's the mubtada and I have one word that's the khabar. When I say one word, there can be something attached to that one word, but it's one word. Like there can be a sifa attached to that word. There can be a mudafun ilayhi attached to that word. It's still one word is the khabar. Right? One word is the khabar. Then there are other forms that a khabar may take. And these are the ones where we're actually going to learn something about, or just categorize in our minds, something that we've already come across. So firstly, we say that the khabar is in a raf, right? We know that rule from first year. The mubtada is in a raf, the khabar is in a raf. The only time you will see that the khabar is in a raf, when the khabar is one word. When there is a single word that you can identify, this is the khabar. As for in all other cases, there is no word that will be in a raf. We will say the whole sentence is in raf, but no individual word. Okay, so now we're going to have to look at it like this. We have the word that's a mubtada of our sentence. Then we have a khabar. If the khabar is an entire nominal sentence, there will likely be things in a raf in that sentence. But remember, we're not talking about within that sentence. We're talking about that sentence in relation to the bigger sentence. So we might say that whole sentence is in raf because it is the khabar. But we'll look at some examples of that. So if you look at this table, the first line in the table, that's straightforward, right? Where the khabar is one word, it will visibly be in a raf. You'll be able to see the u, or the una, or the ani. You'll be able to see it. Right? And here's an example. Ar-rajulu tawilun. What does this mean? Ar-rajul is the mubtada. The man is tall. There's always an is or are between the mubtada and the khabar, usually implied. The man is tall. Or I can say, Ar-rajulu imamul masjidi. What does that mean? The man is the imam of the masjid. What's the khabar over here? Just the one word imam. Just the one word imam. There's something attached to it, yes, but just that one word is the khabar. So we're telling you, remember in first, is it hard to know? Okay. Just remember first, we learned some murakkabat. Can you remember them? The mawsuf and sifa, the mudaf and mudafun ilayh, the ismul ishara and the musharun ilayh, the ismul mawsul and the silatul mawsul. Right? So if we have any one of those, not the harful jar and ismul majroor, leave that one out. Right? But for all of those others that we learned, those still count as one word and having something attached to it. Like the sifa is attached to the mawsuf. The mudafun ilayh is attached to the mudaf. The musharun ilayh is attached to the ismul ishara. The the silatul mawsul is attached to the ismul mawsul. But the first word in all of them count as, that's the actual main thing of it. So all of those, if the khabar is formed by any one of those things, it still counts as one word and something attached to it. You follow? The sifa is just attached. The mudafun ilayh is just attached. The musharun ilayh is just attached. The silatul mawsul is just attached to that one word. Right? So those are not the latter four types that we have over here. Right. So now we look at number 2, 3, 4, and 5. The first type is you have your mubtada, and your mubtada is followed by a harful jar and ismul majrur. In Arabic, sometimes we call that a shibhu jumla, something that's like a sentence, but it's not a whole sentence. You don't have to, that's just the terminology thing. That's not important, really. Right? So here we see ar-rajulu fil bayti. The man is what we want to say something about. What we want to say about him? He's in the house. Fil bayti. Where is the khabar? You can't tell me it's fi. You can't tell me it's al-bayti. The whole harful jar and ism majroor construct, that whole thing is my khabar. Now, what is in a raf here? Is there any word in a raf there? Fi in a raf? No. Al-bayti in a raf? Please, if you tell me that, it comes after harful jar, it's ism majroor. Nothing in a raf. But what you can say is that whole thing is in an implicit state of raf. It's implied that the whole thing is in raf. But where does that exist in your mind? It doesn't exist on paper. Right? You don't see it anyway. It only exists in your mind because you know that the khabar must be in raf. And now I know this whole thing is my khabar, so that whole thing is in raf. Does it show anyway? Nowhere. It's only in my mind. For purposes of, and there is a benefit to having that in your mind. It's not like there's no benefit to having it. But that's like when you're doing a high-level analysis of text and stuff like that, that's when you will use that. For now, we just need to know that there's no word that will be in raf. What I do need to know is how to identify the khabar. Right. The next one is when I have a dharf and a mudafun ilayh. We learned to remember what's a dharf? What's a dharf? An adverb. We have within two types, the adverb of place and the adverb of time. Right? A dharf zaman and a dharf makan. We did also learn the adverb of manner, but that was called something else, hal. Right? We're not focusing on that now. Right? Here we're looking at, we have a dharf, something that indicates time or place. And in our lesson on the dharf, if you recall, in our lesson on the dharf, I can go to that page. You will remember that it always has a mudafun ilayhi. See where we are. Maybe we did that before this. Here we go. It was 2.5. You should have this somewhere. We learned what the dharf is and oftentimes it is qualified by a mudafun ilayh. Right? So when I speak here in this discussion here under the khabar of a dharf and a mudafun ilayh, then you should know basically that the dharf is usually coupled with a mudafun ilayh. So he's showing that I'm on page 9 of 552, no matter which page I'm going to. Which way the cursor is. Okay. Right, so example here. الرجل أمام البيت. The man is أمام البيت. What does that mean? Not imam now, right? Amam. Amam means in front of. Amam means in front of. Or in front. But أمام البيت will mean what? In front of the house. So what's my mubtada? الرجل. What's my khabar? The whole thing. أمام البيت. Is there any word that's in raf there? No. أمام is in nasb because it's a dharf. And the word that comes after it is in jar because it is a mudafun ilayh. So there's no word that's in raf. But I know that that whole construct in my mind, that whole thing is in raf because it is the khabar. Okay. Then you have number 4 here, where the khabar can take the form of a verbal sentence. The khabar can take the form of a verbal sentence. So you have your mubtada, and then after that, the khabar begins with a fi'l. Yes? So what do you call it? No. فعل اسمي جملة فعلية. So whenever you have a fi'l, listen to this quickly. Whenever you have a fi'l, you form a jumla fi'liyah. Even if it's in the middle of a sentence. You know that? Why? Because remember, it has, the fi'l already has built into it the fa'il. Like oftentimes it doesn't even need the maf'ul bihi. So whenever in Arabic, whenever you have a fi'l, a jumla fi'liyah is formed. So now let's see what we have here. We have الرجل نصر الولد. What function is الرجل playing? Is it the fa'il? Remember, what was our rule? The fa'il, we don't look for it on the right of the verb. We only look for it on the left of the verb. So there's no way that this is going to be called my fa'il. This is going to be called my mubtada. Right. Now, what is it that I want to say? What do I want to say about this mubtada? I want to say that this rajul, this man, helped the boy. So how do I do that? I use the verb nasara. Nasara al-walada. Now, you might think, okay, now isn't the fa'il missing from nasara al-walada? Well, we have the verb, the fi'al nasara. And then we have al-walada that is in nasr. So that's why maf'ulun bihi. Where's the fa'il? And remember, the fa'il is never missing. It's either at the end of it, or it's to the left, or it is inside. So it's not, might not be written there, but it is there. It's inside. So if I look at nasr al-walada, that's khabar. I have my fi'al there, I have my fa'il which is inside, and I have my maf'ul bihi. So that's a complete jumla fi'aliyah, right? But that jumla fi'aliyah is simply forming part of a bigger jumla ismi. So what I notice there is, I can have my mubtada, and the khabar can be a jumla fi'aliyah. Because there must be a khabar about ar-rajul, and that's that whole sentence. So I have a jumla fi'liyah within a jumla ismiyah. Ar-rajulu nasara al-walada. The man helped the boy. Now you may think to yourself, that sounds exactly the same like nasara ar-rajulu al-walada. Yes, it translated the same way. The only way I can convey to you the difference in meaning is if I just change my intonation. Ar-rajulu nasara al-walada. Like if you ask me, yeah, if you ask me the question, if I just wanted to tell you matter of fact, the man helped the boy, then I'll say nasara ar-rajulu al-walada. But if you ask me, for example, who helped the boy, then I'll say ar-rajulu Nasr al-walad. It's just changing the emphasis. But the meaning is essentially the same. I'm using a jumla ismiya. Okay, and then the last one. Like you can have a jumla fi'liya as part of a jumla ismiya, you can also have a jumla ismiya as part of a jumla ismiya. You can have a jumla ismiya within a jumla ismiya. How so? We're going to see that. Okay, when we speak about delayed mubtada, we'll speak about this. For now, we're just looking at the khabar. So again, my mubtada is the same thing, ar-rajulu. Here's what I want to say something about. And my khabar is now what? Okay, firstly, just quickly. In the jumla fi'liya one. If you look at the jumla fi'liya one, ar-rajulu nasara al-walada. Ar-rajulu is my mubtada, it's in raf. My khabar, is there anything in raf there? No. You could tell me actually, there's a hidden doer there that's inside the verb, and that thing is in state of raf. And I'll tell you, yes, that's correct. However, is it in a raf because it's the khabar? Or is it in raf because it's the fa'il? It's in raf because it's the fa'il, not because it's a khabar. That whole sentence is an implicit state of raf because that whole sentence is the khabar. Right. Now we look at the next sentence. Ar-rajulu ummuhu tawilatun. Who am I speaking about? I'm speaking about the man. I want to say something about this man. Ar-rajulu. What do I want to say about him? I want to say his mother's tall. Or, yeah. So how would I say that? Let's look at the sentence there. Ummuhu tawilatun. Ummuhu tawilatun. Ummuhu is a mubtada. Ummu is a mubtada. Who is a mudafun ilayhi for that mubtada? And tawilatun is what?
Sifa.
A mudaf of what? Ummuhu, yes, ummuhu is a mudaf ilayhi construction. But remember, a mudaf is not a function that gives the word its hal. That word ummu is a mubtada for that sentence. So I have a sentence, a jumla ismiya as the khabar of a jumla ismiya. So if I look at the big sentence is something about the man. And the small sentence, the internal sentence, is something about his mother. Ar-rajulu ummuhu tawilatun. If I look at that thing, the ummuhu tawilatun, is a mubtada. Who is a mudafun ilayhi? It's connected to the mubtada. But the khabar about that is tawilatun. I could have left out ar-rajulu. I could have just said ummuhu tawilatun. His mother is tall. That's a jumla. That's a jumla ismiya on its own. Ummuhu tawilatun. That's a jumla ismiya. Right? But now what I'm doing is I'm just nesting that whole sentence as a khabar about a different mubtada. Why might you ever want to construct a sentence like this, you ask? What if somebody comes in and says, look, this is a tall man. Why is that the case? Then you say, Ar-rajulu ummuhu tawilatun. His mother's tall. This man. Or I could even put it differently that might make more sense. Hada rajul. This man, ummuhu tawilatun. His mother's tall. So at something, there's a statement about his mother within a statement about him. So if we look at it now, we can have a khabar that's one word on its own. We can have a khabar that is a harful jar and ism majroor together. We can have a khabar that's a zarf and a mudafun ilayh. We can have a khabar that's an entire jumla fi'liya, and we can have a khabar that's an entire jumla ismiya. Now this one, so we have some exercises to do for this one. Where's my cursor now? Okay. So we have some exercises to do for this. Now I'm going to go through some of the answers to this exercise, at least one or two of each type, just so that we can see. So I'll send you this exercise, inshallah, today or tomorrow. If I forget, if I don't, just somebody send me a message, please, to remind me. Okay, are there any questions on it? Don't complicate and ask questions about it now. First do the exercise and then you can ask more questions afterwards. Right? So I want you to keep this table in front of you when you do the exercise. The different types of khabar, and then you look for that in the examples that I will give you to do homework, inshallah. Okay, if there's no questions, then I think our time is actually up for today. And then we'll continue next week, inshallah. for now. جزاكم الله خيرا وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.